finally here. Sip that morning coffee. Gloomy morning today. And this is the first official episode of the Guerilla Filmer Show. This is going to be a podcast, show, talk, all of the above for anything industry related. We're talking filmmaking, the film process, anything in and around filmmaking. We're going to have some movie talk, industry talk. We're going to talk about everything to do about the film industry. But this is where I want, anybody who's a filmmaker or aspiring to be a filmmaker, writer, director, all of those things to come and feel like you have somewhere to, listen to information and do this and that. So this is the first episode. And, before I get too ahead of myself, let me go ahead and introduce who I am. My name is Jerron Lockridge. I go by Jay because there's a lot to say. And I'm a filmmaker. Right now, let me see. I'm sitting at 8 feature films underneath my belt. 2 series, 2 episodic series, 1 7 episodes, another with 9 episodes. And I've been doing this filmmaking thing now for since 2009. I started in 2009, took a little break, got back in it around 2016, and been consistent since 2016 ever since. So, I kind of have a little knowledge when it comes to how to get your own films off the ground. And that's a little knowledge that I want to provide to people who are going to follow this podcast. That's, me. As I said, I got films. You can IMDb me. I'm not here to gloat myself up and do all that. I'm here to get this thing off the ground because I promise you it's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get this show off the ground now for, I want to say, since 2019. And for some reason or another, I've always found a reason not to do it. If it was time or, just any reason. I didn't have the right setup. Like my office is junky. As you can see in the background, that's my kitchen right there. Hopefully you can hide the dirty dishes and all that, and all that. I hadn't washed dishes yet. But, this is my background. And for the longest, I was like, man, I ain't got the right spot. Ain't nothing interesting. And I kept making excuses. And on top of that, I am, an introvert. I used to think for the longest I was shy, but I'm not shy. When I started learning more about what an introvert was, that's when I started really realizing that's who I am. I'm not great at off the cuff talking. My first attempt at doing this podcast, I wrote this long kind of like script to go off of, so I wouldn't miss talking beats. And, I was like, man, I hadn't done this before. I'm not good at it. So I, wrote all this down, ready to do that first show, never did it. I'm not good at off the cuff talking. It's just not my strength. My wife wins arguments all the time because I can't off the head. I can't think of what I want to say. And then later on when I'm asleep or somewhere, I'm like, I should have said that. I would have won it. You know, that's just me. So I was scared to do this podcast because I knew that wasn't a strength of mine. And I prefer not to talk in front of this camera. You know, I prefer to be behind the camera. I much prefer, like, I don't want the spotlight. That's why I love being a director. You know, I can still go, no matter how big I get, I can still go to the grocery store and shop in peace. You know, you actors, you know, y'all the one that, you know, everybody's running to you for the autograph because you the face. You know, everybody sees you. Me, I don't have to worry about that. I still get to create what I love, and I'm behind the camera. You know, I love being out of the way. But yeah, for the longest, I've been, you know, I got the artwork and all this done years ago, trying to get this podcast off the ground, and just never did. You know, for a multiplicity of reasons. You know, like I said, I'm a filmmaker. I'm still actively producing projects. You know, I'm married, 3 kids, 3 growing boys, teenagers, 2 teenagers, and then 1, you know, 10-year-old who thinks he's a baby. Well, he is the baby, but he knows he's the baby. So got to deal with that, you know, and the challenges and issues raising kids in this day and time, social media age. So you got to deal with that. I still work full time. I work 12 hours a day. So, you know, I still deal with those stresses, a stressful job, you know, a stressful, you know, family is just stressful anyway. And then trying to pursue making films in the midst of all that. And I'm like, man, I ain't got time to do a podcast, because if I start something, I'm a stickler towards making sure I'm consistent with it. I don't ever want to start anything and then just stop it. So if I start something, that's a commitment from me personally, just the person that I am, to keep, you know, pushing forward and making sure I do that. So, you know, I didn't want to start this and do 2 or 3 podcasts and, you know, see, man, I'm only getting like 100 views, I'm out. You know, if I started this, I was going to have to continue doing it. So eventually, you know, I just said, man, screw it. I don't have the, you know, the background. I don't have, you know, the pretty location. I don't have none of that. All I have is excuses. And this is something that I need to do to better myself, to sharpen that knife, to better my public speaking, to, you know, just to better my off-the-cuff speaking. You know, I haven't wrote anything. This is just me, you know. So I need to better myself, and this podcast is a way for me to better myself, get some content out there to like-minded individuals, and help somebody. Because to be honest with you, when I started filmmaking, my first film called Betray was a challenge. For one, I made that movie in like 3 days. I should have known better. Didn't know no better at the time. Made a feature film in 3 days. So you know how that turned out. And you know, at the time, you know, we was all just kind of happy to be there, young and dumb. We was in it. Man, working way too long on set, getting these scenes knocked out. I didn't know no better. And hired an editor to edit that project. You know, and he was in Nashville at the time. Drove all the way to Nashville. And, you know, the guy told me he would sit there and edit the film. Spent the night up there in Nashville at this stranger's house. And he still didn't edit. You know, he edited, but, you know, of course he's not going to be able to edit the whole feature film in like 2 days. But, you know, like, I was ignorant of the process. I'm like, man, you know, you can get this done. But I had this, one thing to the reason why I'm making films now. I always had this ignorance about me, because if I had started making films around people who I know now, to people who a lot of people are like, man, ain't no way in the world that you're making films the way you're making them. Like, there's no way you're making this type of movie with that type of budget. No way you're doing all this by yourself. No way, no way, no way. If I had started around those people, I probably wouldn't be making films right now, because I always, after the fact, when I started meeting more filmmakers, I heard about how you couldn't do this, how you couldn't do that. I remember a filmmaker recently, he raised, I want to say like $25,000 just for a short film. A short film. I've made 3 features for that. Easily. I mean, not even, I want to say, man, I've made 3 features. I probably made 4 features for that amount of money. Features. And, you still have people in that old mindset that still think you have to, do this and that to make a feature. Like one of my favorite channels is Film Ride with Ryan Connolly. No shot towards Ryan. But his everybody who watches that channel knows his goal is to make a feature. He's trying to get that feature made. And the way that I operate, I'm like, Ryan, you got 2 million followers on YouTube. You spent your entire living, basically, because I've learned a lot from him. That's one of my favorite channels. You spent your entire being teaching filmmakers how to do this and that. You know it all. You know how to do it all. You have a team there in studio. Make the feature, bro. Make it yourself. Why are you waiting on somebody to green light you? You have the resources to get it done. And, I don't know his thinking, but I know how passionate he is. And, at least comes across on the channel, making that first feature. And I mean, like, you've taught us how to get features off the ground for little or nothing. I mean, shorts and, films off the ground with little to nothing. Practice what you preach. I mean, get it out yourself. Stop waiting on these people to tell you, hey, okay, yeah, we can make this feature. And that's where my blockheaded is. I don't want nobody to tell me nothing. If I want to get out there and make something, I'm going to make it. I'm going to write what I can make, and I'm going to make it. And that's going to be a topic for another podcast. Kind of getting off track. But I'm just letting you know a little bit, about me in this introduction. Because this is the first one. So the first one, and hopefully a whole lot. And hopefully we can see the improvement and the growth as we go. So, that's the reason why I'm doing this thing, man. I just want to sharpen my own knife, because like I said, man, I'm an introverted fellow. I can go out, but small talk is not, if the energy is not matching me, if I got to carry a conversation, I'm going to fall back. That's just me. When I go to film events and, everybody's, that energy is, inviting and stuff, man, I have a good time. I talk to all the strangers in the world. That's just me. It took me a long time to realize that. But if I have to go somewhere and force conversation or small talk to keep it going, I'm probably finna dip out, So this is helping me grow, because I'm going to have some of these small talks and talks the more I grow in this industry. And this podcast, as I'm helping you with tips and stuff that I've grown with, I'm helping myself. But yeah, back to the story of the editor. Went edited my film, and he ended up telling me, like, man, there's a lot here. Let me do my thing, and I'll keep you progress. And I've already paid him. Didn't pay him a lot, but he ended up, BSing and moving away, never doing nothing on my film, nothing. And I remember feeling so pissed off about that. Like, I felt so helpless. I couldn't get this film completed. I sat here and shot all this and that. And my friend Dallas got Adobe Premiere, and he started editing that joint out. And I remember after then, like, feeling like I'm never gonna do that again. I'm never gonna be that helpless in my own stuff again. And I started getting on YouTube, Film Ride, like I mentioned, all these other channels, looking at all these tutorials, and I taught myself filmmaking. I taught myself how to go and break down story structure. Like, still to this day, I've wrote so many films, and I'm a filmmaker based off of feel mostly. If you were to ask me, where's the inciting incident and blah, blah, this and that in front of a class, I ain't gonna be able to tell you nothing. I don't know the technical, the literal, whatever the word, you know what I'm trying to say, part of it. I can't sit there and teach a class and tell you. I just know it. I feel it. So if you're that type of person that's waiting because I don't know how to, this ain't a class, it's filmmaking. Do it. Because I don't. If you were to get me in front of the class and tell me, I'm like, I ain't finna do it because I don't know what to say in front of these folks. I can't translate how I feel out my projects to these people. I just can't do it because I'm so, I'm such a gut filmmaker. I just know it. I just know what to do. I know how this is supposed to happen here. I know how the timing's supposed to happen here. That's basically how I am. And that's how I made my films. And like I said, I remember feeling so much of a victim that I took it as an initiative to learn screenwriting, learn screenwriting software, learn how to format a script, learn how to work a camera. I had a little, familiar, word almost took me out. Familiar look. I'm going to stop that. I had a little knowledge of a camera. And I knew how, to work a camera, but as far as cinematography, the ins and outs of cinematography, depth of focus, all this and that, how to rack focus, different type of sensors, how to set for exposure, how to frame properly, the 180 rule, all of these things that you should know if you're shooting your own films. I taught myself. I became, proficient with that. And, making my own films, that was something that I took the initiative on. I wanted to do that because I said, I'm never going to feel like that again, helpless in my own stuff. And that's why, now, I haven't signed, I've been offered, almost got, signed to distributors before, but I'm so protective of my work because I've been burned before that I never want to feel that again. And, distribution, like I said, that's another topic for a whole different day because I got plenty of thoughts on that. I have a film coming out now called The Reaper Man that I'm wanting to maximize. And one distributor is about to win me over, but I still don't know. But that's a topic for a whole different conversation. Again, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff on this show. A lot of stuff. I'm going to have some guests here and there, all of it. So, going on with that, I just taught myself everything. Taught myself how to edit using Premiere Pro at first. Hate that program now, but that's what I was using at first. Taught myself everything. And, made my first film, Hungo. I'm going to do a breakdown on the show of that movie. I'm going to show you behind the scenes. All that is going to be on this show. And, that was an experience. And then I'm like, man, I could have did this better. Could have did that better. Dealing with things going on there. And use that to grow myself. And that's one thing I'm proud of myself. I'm a realist. I can sit out, I can make a project, go back, watch it as an audience member, and pick it apart. So a lot of negative things people say about my films, I've already said it. It doesn't shock me, unless it's something such super crazy. I'm my worst critic, like for real. And that's a quality because you keep yourself accountable. You keep yourself wanting to improve. You never settle. You never think, man, I'm the best filmmaker ever. I don't need to learn anything. When you can keep yourself accountable, you will always grow. And that's something that, wields me to the point that I'm still ascending and getting better with each and every project. And with this podcast, I'm going to kind of share that with you guys, because if starting out, a lot of knowledge that I had to gain along the way, it would have been a lot easier. So, y'all stay tuned to this podcast, and we're going to take this journey together. And I hope to accomplish by this, I hope to, get a following of people, a community of people, of fellow filmmakers who leave this old mindset behind of that you need finance and you need $1 million to make a feature film. You need this, you need that. You got to have this, you got to have that. Like, those days are not quite the same. Some of that is true. Some of that, sometimes, it in a more business sense, you need this and this and that. But you can do so much with so little. It just takes you jumping out there and doing it. Simple as that. It just takes you going out there and doing it and making it happen. You can sit around and find, like me with this podcast, I found every reason not to do it. I'm not interested. Nobody's not going to sit here and listen to me. Nobody's going to want to sit here and listen to me. But I knew I needed to do it. So here I am doing it. Background, junkie room, and all. Just say, screw it. Do it. And that's been my mindset since the beginning of this filmmaking journey. And as this is the first episode, I've held myself accountable to continue making episodes. So this is something I'm going to do. The frequency, I don't know yet. I'm thinking bi-weekly to not stress myself out. And then at that point, go from bi-weekly to weekly. And then from weekly to daily, maybe. But right now, we're going to start this thing bi-weekly. I might change that between now and the next episode. But I want to keep content coming for you guys. And I don't want to overstep because I got a lot going on. I got 2 films right now, Succuba and The Reaper Man, that I'm actively promoting. One getting set for release. The other is about to hit the festival circuit for its world premiere. So I got a lot going on. And like I said, I got, family, got a job. And, hey, if you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one. But this podcast is for you. This podcast is for those 9-to-5 filmmakers who have a job, who have a family, and trying to figure out how to do this. You can do it. Prime example. Prime example, right here. If you always wondered, like, man, all these people making these movies saying you need this and that type of money, I don't know how to do none of that. The show is for you. This show is for the common person because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all. Everybody, even right now on YouTube, some of my favorite people who are doing indie films here recently deciding, hey, I'm just going to go make a film myself. A lot of these people still have that old mindset, or they're just not totally like me. They're doing this full time in a way, which I envy. They're doing, either like Ryan Film Bride or some other channels. They're doing wedding videography or something full time alongside pursuing film. I have a job. I have to go night shift, 5:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. and work. Try to get some sleep, pick up kids, drop off kids. I have to try to ration family time in the midst of all the time that this takes, hours upon hours of editing, hours upon hours of getting on social media promoting, hours upon hours of everything that goes on with filmmaking and dealing with actors and attitudes there and attitudes in my own house and all of that. And I have yet to find a filmmaker myself that deals with that. Or, openly admit it. Somebody who I know is going every day to a job, raising a family, and still gutting it out, making these films. And if that's you, the Guerilla Filmer Show is for you. Being a guerrilla filmer is more than just a clever name. It's a way of life for me. And if that way of life is similar to yours, I invite you to follow this podcast, to follow this show. And I think that you will find conversations and content that relates to you. And, you'll find some enlightenment of. And even if you're not a filmmaker, if you're a musician, if you're anybody with a 9-to-5 and a family and you're pursuing some type of dream, although my tips will be film industry based, you can convert those same things over to your way of life because, it's all grind and determination. And we're going to grow this thing together. We're going to grow it together. And watch me grow with this podcast that I'm leaping out on faith to make. I think I did pretty well today. I didn't stumble on my words or nothing like I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to have to stop it and restart it, but I did pretty good today. I'm proud of myself. Pat on the back. You know what I'm saying? Pat on the back. But like I said, I'm starting this thing bi-weekly for right now. I'm giving myself that wiggle room. And we're going to probably come out every other Sunday. Let's do it like that. Every other Sunday, the Guerilla Filmer Show will post on my YouTube. Search Misguided Perceptions. That's the name of my film company. Or search my name, Jerron Lockridge, or the Guerilla Filmer. I'll pop to the top. Subscribe, like, share. Please subscribe, like, and share. To that YouTube channel especially. If you're on my Facebook page, like the page, follow the page, engage with the page. Twitter and IG, all of them are at Guerilla Filmer. I'll pop it on the screen. Follow me. Engage with me. If you got a question, hit me in the inbox. I gotta admit, I get a lot of messages, like a lot of messages. It ain't gonna show me today. But my wife was making fun of me yesterday because I had like 200 unread text messages. Make sure ain't nothing on here. But like, look at the conversations. I'm trying to show y'all if it'll focus. It ain't gonna focus. But that's 200 unread text messages. I'm probably about the same way with emails. I get drowned with so much stuff just from bills and people and other stuff I got going on. And sometimes when I get a little time, I go back and look and see everything I missed. So if I've ever hit you up after you emailed me like 3 weeks ago or DM'd me like 3 weeks ago, it was like, hey man, I just now getting it. That's why I'm terrible at reading my messages. I'm good at hitting my emails because my emails is usually business, but text messages and stuff like that, I'm terrible and I apologize. But I'm gonna stick to this. So if you got a question or something, hit me up in the DM. I will get to you eventually. No. Charge it to my head, not to my heart. But this is the first show. We're going to round it out. I think it was a effective introduction. And the next show, we're going to start dipping into some topics, filmmaking related topics. And eventually down the way, we're going to talk movie stuff, movie breakdowns right here on the show. And just bringing content. So y'all make sure to subscribe to my YouTube. Once again, it's Misguided. Get it right. Misguided Perceptions. Or search my name. Search the Guerilla Filmer. Got short films, full free movies on there. Some of my older stuff. It's unlisted on the channel itself. You might have to go to the channel and look at a playlist, because some of those films are unlisted, because some of my older stuff is a little bit terrible. But if you want to look at it, it's on there for you to view. You know, and I got some more content on there. You know, show love to the YouTube. Get on there. Like I said, subscribe first. Like, share, comment, engage. Same with the Facebook page. Jay Lockridge is my Facebook page because I have a long name, so I just kind of abbreviated a little bit. But the @ is Guerilla Filmer on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And TikTok. I'm starting to get into TikTok. Man, I edit movies, whole movies. And I'm still have no idea how to work that thing. But I'm getting there. I'm trying to get more social media savvy. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to do this thing bi-weekly, posting bi-weekly on a Sunday. And I'm going to bring y'all this message. No pun intended. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up on that note. This is the first episode, the Guerilla Filmer Show. I appreciate you who are looking at it right now, you who are viewing it. And y'all come along and follow this journey with me as we improve. And, you know, eventually I get a little studio or background or something in here to make it a little bit more appealing. And we make this thing work. And, you know, this is the start. I jumped out. I said, no more excuses, no more procrastinating. We're going to do this show. And now that I got it done and I'm about to post it, ain't no turning around now. That's the way I hold myself accountable. So until next time, it's the Guerilla Filmer himself, Jerron Lockridge. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to those pages. Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Whatever social media site that you prefer, you use a lot. And please, 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 please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will help me. You know, this is free content. Subscribe, like, share. But that will help me, you know, eventually get monetized on YouTube, so that I can, you know, upgrade some stuff and bring y'all some good content. So y'all stay tuned. Like I said, got commentary on some of my films, maybe some other films, just general, you know, screenwriting, directing, all type of topics coming towards you. And like I said, even if you aren't a filmmaker, some of this stuff you can, you know, apply to your own projects and everything you got going. Follow me, and let's make this thing happen. And until next time, this is the Guerilla Filmer Show. I am Jerron Lockridge, and keep creating.